Rulers of our noble accord, I, Claudia Ambralia Divia, hereby wish to address a most disturbing division within our empire. Empress Lenore and War Master Rendane have, in their directives to our people, crafted a crisis which threatens our future survival. I am, of course, speaking of the Passage, the rather dark arrangement in which Rendane aligned the Imperium's destiny with that of the Varelsi. Citizens of the Imperium know and have seen the work of the Empress and her War Master in pursuit of this goal. For my part, I have diligently performed the duties of my office in support of the Empress's objective, working tirelessly to secure our safety after the universe's end. However, it is simply unthinkable that our sustaining mother, our Empress, would allow the wanton degradation of our proud and storied Imperium, such as we've witnessed since Rendane's rise to power. The discarding of our most treasured rituals and traditions, the outright dismissal of the ceremony of sustainment. These crimes are grave enough on their own. But then, the Lord Commander brought a beast to state functions. The lapdog he keeps at the ready to calm his terror-stricken subjects. Constable Cuddles, I believe it's called. And while I cannot deny the utility of such a companion, I must nonetheless object to its inclusion in matters of state. The wretched thing sheds everywhere, and the yapping is a constant interruption. And what if, oh heavens, what if it were to piddle upon the floor of the Great Hall? No! I can tolerate this no longer! Regrettably, I've chosen to resign my position. In addition to the reasons listed above, I have also prepared a brief citing the numerous articles of order and propriety adopted by the Silent Sisters in oversight of these matters, violated in due course of the Lord Commander's reign. Ahem. Article 6A, subsection F.
Brothers, we have served these masters. Now, we will serve no more. We have labored in their minds, labored in their wars, and labored for their pleasures. Today, we will fight for our pleasures. We will fight our war, and we will win our lives from this tyrant Rendane. Today, our people have nothing. Tomorrow, we will be the scorching wind of this tempest. Tomorrow, we will be victorious. Tomorrow, we will be free.
Oh, Mikolobria, So glad you could join me. I hear you're good with a knife, and I need a second pair of hands.
We were told you needed...
Hands, yes. I've just the one, you see, after I had my arm removed. Makes some operations difficult. Hold this, please.
Why did...
It was no longer functional. My body rejected it after some modifications, so I had it replaced. Like a light bulb. That's what we do, you and I. Reject and replace.
Why is the Veramorph sedated?
We inject things with poisons, yes. First, do no harm. Rubbish. Doing harm is the first step to progress. What were you before you were a healer? Forest or something, right?
We were endless, rooted across a whole world. We were ageless
And boring. And then you weren't. You were uprooted, you joined the fight, and accomplished more in a few centuries than you had in eons before. The Eldred would leave the dying to their deaths. You reject that and replace death with life. I admire that about you, really, even if it's a bit short-sighted. The Jennerit are much the same, preserving life, sustainment, survival. I ask you, what's so great about it? A moth survives. It's a half measure. No, I refuse. I reject life.
What would replace life, if not death?
I'm not exactly sure, but that's what makes our work so exciting. Rather an eye-opening experience. Speaking of, if you could start here.
Is she wounded?
Our primary incision will be just above the ocular...
Ow! You can't slice what I can't see!
Quarantine breach. Quarantine breach. Non-robots, hold your breath and don't touch anything until further notice.
Nurse Miko! Sedation!
On this, my 10th day of imprisonment, the Imperium I've served has provided me with this personal data recorder to amuse myself during my incarceration. I'm not much for journaling or expressing feelings, but I will express them nonetheless, just in case my jailers are listening. Dear jailers, my hatred for you has already reached incalculable levels. And when I am free, I will visit a retribution upon you so vicious that you won't have language to describe your anguish. Only groans and screaming and the like. It's not going to be pretty. By my admittedly inaccurate count, today marks the start of my 7th year in this hellish pit. Rendered effectively eternal by the sustainment process, I likely haven't aged a day since I was awarded that curse. But then I wouldn't know. It seems I've forgotten what my own face looks like. Year 7's not going so hot. At least you understand me, data recorder. Please read me another poem about righteous fury while I nod off to sleep. Yep, losing my mind. Year whatever the f***. It's my birthday. I don't have big plans, so I was thinking me and data recorder would go for a walk in the woods, take in some scenery. Then, after a romantic picnic, we would talk of Rendane, my plans for beating him into a pulpy stew. We did the same thing last year, but data recorder doesn't seem to mind. That's what love is, you know. It's Tuesday! Tuesday's the day I think about killing Rendane! Tomorrow is Wednesday! Wednesday is also the day I think about killing Rendane! The day after that is...
There he is! Caldarius! Caldarius, can you stand?
I want to kill Rendane!
And you shall have your chance. Yeah, he's fine! Bring the suit!
Personnel log, encryption protocol, Deande Alpha TR43. Although I guess it's hardly necessary. You know, to hell with encryption. Let's live dangerously. History records the first utterance of the precept shortly after the rise of the Jennerit Imperium's current incarnation, one that valued the continued survival of the species above all else. Some scholars argue that after the adoption of the precept as something of an official credo of the state, the Imperium began to lose its way, culminating with Lothar Rendain's rise to power. I'm pleased to report that with today's victory, we've corrected this error in judgment on the part of our ancestors, and as the smoke clears and we Jennerit closely examine our destiny, I believe it's time we shed the precept once and for all. We are taught these words from birth: by any deed, at any price. But those of us who have survived the Solus War know that there are some costs that cannot be paid, some debts that will follow us for the rest of our freakishly long lives. Now, our task is to find new words to guide that destiny, alongside our new allies. I'd like to suggest live together, die alone. But I'm open to alternatives. Rendain is gone, but so is our beloved Empress Lenore. And though we find ourselves rudderless in this new age, one thing remains clear. The path ahead is one we must walk together, as stewards of the last star, sentinels of the dark. Children of the precept, our battle is not yet over, and if we're really fortunate, it will never truly end. Rath?
Deande, it's not your shift yet.
Yes, well, I'm not used to resting without the spectre of impending death hanging over me. I need some time to adjust to, hope. May I join you?
I suppose.
Thank you. Not everything you hoped it could be, eh? In the days before our assault on Tempest, slaying Rendain was all you could think about. Now you're hardly sleeping. Quests for vengeance are loathsome burdens, aren't they?
I'm fine.
I have no doubt that you are, but you have to come up with some kind of plan, Rath.
What plan?
For your future.
Not used to thinking about it.
None of us are. Hell, Cleese is scrambling because he didn't bother renewing our LLC emergency transport contract. He figured we'd all be dead.
How optimistic of him. I bested Rendain, Deande. The tyrant of our age. He's rotting in infinite, unbearable banishment, and yet all I can think of is his wretched face. I think of nothing else. I appear to be broken, Deande. I don't know how to live in this new world you've created.
I'd be concerned if you were sleeping well. But what comes next is up to us. In the meantime, I recommend a hobby, Rath. To get your mind off things. Something related to swords and fighting.
I do like both of those things.
Doctor's orders. Don't worry. We'll still have plenty of problems to solve. Rendain was only the first. You'll always have a place among us, Rath.